The joke at the dinner table. I was standing 3 steps behind my sister when she laughed and offered me away like I was leftover food at dinner. No one wants her anyway, she said, swirling her glass. Why not offer her to Mr. Vale? Laughter exploded around the table. My father smirked. My mother did not even look at me. Then my sister added, she is quiet and obedient. Cheap maintenance too. More laughter. Something inside me cracked. I kept my face still because crying only made them crueler. I had learned that years ago. I was adopted when I was 8. They gave me their last name, their house, their rules. They never gave me love. At family dinners, I sat at the edge like decoration. Useful enough to display, unimportant enough to ignore. Tonight mattered because Adrian Vale sat across from my father. Billionaire investor. Everyone wanted something from him. Including my family. My sister leaned toward him with a playful smile. She cooks too, she said. And she barely talks. Perfect wife material. Stop joking, my mother said. But she was smiling. She was always smiling when I was the punchline. My father lifted his drink. Honestly, she has been a burden. Maybe you should take her. Burden. The word landed like a blade. I lowered my eyes. I told myself to breathe. Do not cry. Not here. Not in front of them. I expected Adrian to laugh. Everyone did. Silence came instead. A strange silence. Heavy. Sure. Wrong. I looked up. Adrian was staring at me. Not at my dress. Not at my hands. At my face. Like he was reading every scar I had hidden behind silence. My sister laughed awkwardly. See? Even he thinks it is ridiculous. Adrian finally spoke. How old are you? The question hit me first. No one asked me questions. They talked about me. Around me. Over me. Never to me. My throat tightened. 22, I whispered. His gaze never moved. What is your name? I swallowed. Clara. My sister rolled her eyes. She gets shy around strangers. I wanted to disappear. Adrian ignored her. He asked me another question. Do you want to be here? My mind went blank. The room froze. My father frowned. What kind of question is that? Adrian still looked at me. I could feel every heartbeat. Do I want to be here? No one had asked me what I wanted in years. Maybe ever. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. My mother snapped, answer him properly. Properly. As if I owed everyone comfort. Adrian spoke again. You can answer honestly. My father laughed once. She is dramatic. Ignore her moods. That was what they called pain. My sister leaned back. She should be grateful. We gave her everything. Everything. The word burned. Everything? Food with conditions. Shelter with insults. Kindness that came with debt. I lifted my head. For the first time that night, I spoke louder. You gave me a room. Everyone stared. My voice shook. You gave me clothes. My father's expression hardened. But love? I asked softly. No. Silence. Real silence. My mother's face changed first. Cold. Warning. Clara. Just my name. But I heard the threat. Stop talking. Know your place. I knew that language well. My sister scoffed. Oh please. Here comes the victim act. Victim. I clenched my hands. I never asked to be adopted. My father slammed his glass down. Ungrateful girl. The sound made me flinch. Adrian noticed. I saw it in his eyes. That tiny shift. That tiny darkness. My father pointed at me. We rescued you. I laughed. I did not mean to. It just escaped. Rescued. I whispered. You remind me every week that nobody wanted me. My mother stood. That is enough. No, I said. The word shocked even me. No. I had never said no to them. More followed. No, I am done. My sister folded her arms. Done with what? With pretending your cruelty is love. Her smile vanished. You should watch your tone. Why? I asked. Afraid he will see who you really are? She stepped toward me. You think one emotional speech makes you special? No, I said. I think surviving you made me strong. Her hand lifted. Instinct made me brace. The slap never came. Adrian had stood. He caught her wrist. Everything stopped. My sister stared at him. So did everyone else. His voice was quiet. That made it worse. Do not. 2 words. Ice cold. She pulled back slowly. I was not going to hit her. He released her. But his expression said he did not believe her. My father forced a laugh. This is family drama. I apologize. Adrian ignored him. He looked at me. Only me. Then he said the sentence that split my life in two. I will accept. No one moved. My sister blinked. What? Adrian's voice remained calm. I will accept your offer. My mother looked confused. My father tried to laugh again. You cannot be serious. Adrian finally looked at him. I am serious. My sister stared between us. You want her? The disgust in her voice cut deep. Want her? Like I was an object. Adrian answered without hesitation. I do. My chest tightened. Nothing made sense. What? Why me? Why now? My father cleared his throat. Well, that is unexpected. He sounded greedy already. I knew that tone. Numbers were moving inside his head. He looked at Adrian. What exactly do you mean by accept? Adrian did not break eye contact with me. I will take responsibility for her future. My mother whispered, responsibility? My father leaned forward. What arrangement are you proposing? Arrangement. Contract. Transaction. Of course. Everything became business with him. Adrian finally said the 6 words that changed everything. I will accept if she agrees. The room turned toward me. Not with concern. With annoyance. I was delaying profit. My father's jaw tightened. Clara. Say yes. My mother added, do not embarrass us. My sister muttered, for once in your life be useful. Useful. There it was again. Always conditional. Always transactional. I looked at Adrian. His face gave nothing away. No pressure. No demand. Only patience. Choice felt terrifying. My lips trembled. Why? I asked him. My father snapped. That is not relevant. Adrian answered anyway. Because I do not like watching cruelty dressed as family. The air left my lungs. No one had ever said it aloud. Cruelty. Not discipline. Not tough love. Cruelty. My mother looked offended. How dare you judge this household? Adrian did not look at her. I asked him again. Why me? His answer came slowly. Because everyone here reduced you to a joke. Pause. His voice softened. I did not. Tears burned my eyes. But this felt different. Not humiliation. Recognition. He saw me. Not the burden. Me. Could I do that? Could I choose myself? My father's voice cut through. Enough. Say yes. The old chains tightened. Then something inside me whispered back. No more. I took a breath. Then another. I raised my head. And for the first time in that house, I made a choice that belonged only to me. I looked straight at Adrian. Yes, I said. My father smiled. My sister cursed. My mother went pale. But Adrian did not smile. He only held my gaze. As if he already knew. This was not the end of my suffering. It was the beginning of something dangerous. Hope. Bought or chosen. My father named a price before asking if I was okay. 10 million. The number hit harder than a slap. Not because it was big. Because that was what my life was worth to him. A number. A transaction. A clean exit. I stood frozen in the dining room while my adoptive family stared at Adrian Vale like predators circling fresh meat. My sister recovered first. She laughed. Oh my God, Dad, you can't just say 10 million. Then she looked at Adrian. 20. My mother hissed, be serious. I am serious, my sister said. If he wants her, he can pay properly. Wants her. Again. Like I was property. I wrapped my arms around myself. Adrian's face did not change. He looked terrifying in silence. My father leaned forward. You understand our position. We invested years into raising her. Invested. I nearly laughed. Years of insults became investment. Years of neglect became sacrifice. Adrian finally spoke. She is not for sale. Silence. My mother forced a smile. You misunderstand. We only mean. I understand perfectly, he said. His voice stayed calm. That calm frightened everyone. Including me. My father cleared his throat. If you are taking responsibility for her future, legal paperwork is necessary. Money. He still wanted money. Of course he did. Adrian reached inside his jacket and placed a card on the table. My father's eyes widened. He recognized the bank. Everyone did. Adrian spoke without emotion. I will provide compensation. Compensation. Not payment. The difference mattered. This money is not for her, he continued. It is for one thing only. My father swallowed. What? You will sign documents. My mother frowned. What documents? He looked at them one by one. Documents ending all legal, financial, and personal claims over Clara. The room exploded. What? My mother snapped. My father slammed his hand down. That is absurd. My sister scoffed. You think we would give up all rights? Rights. The word made my stomach twist. Rights? They wanted rights over someone they barely treated as human. Adrian turned to me. Then he said quietly, "Come with me." I froze. My father stood. "She stays here." Adrian looked at him. No. One word. Flat. Final. Something in my father's anger shifted. Fear. He saw power now. Real power. Not money alone. Influence. Control. Consequences. Adrian stepped toward me. Not too close. Just enough. Clara. My throat tightened. Come. I moved before thinking. That shocked me. That shocked everyone. My sister grabbed my wrist. Art. Where do you think you're going? Pain shot through my arm. I looked at her fingers digging into my skin. Same hand. Same cruelty. Different day. Adrian's voice turned cold. Let go. She didn't. Instead she smiled at me. Cruel. Familiar. You really think he wants you? The words landed exactly where she aimed. My weakest place. He's bored, she whispered. Rich men collect broken things. My chest tightened. She leaned closer. When he's done playing hero, he'll throw you away too. I stopped breathing. Because a part of me believed her. Broken girls were temporary. Useful until inconvenient. Disposable. Always disposable. My hand shook. Adrian spoke again. Last warning. My sister released me. She rolled her eyes. Take her. Then she smiled. She'll come crawling back. That sentence followed me as I walked behind Adrian into the study. The door closed. Silence. No laughter. No insults. No audience. Just me and him. I suddenly felt exposed. Dangerously exposed. I stepped back. My voice came out sharp. Why are you doing this? He didn't answer immediately. That silence hurt. I hated silence. Silence usually meant judgment. Or disappointment. Or rejection. My voice cracked. Are you mocking me too? His brows tightened slightly. No. You don't even know me. I know enough. No, you don't. My breathing became uneven. Rich men like entertainment. He said nothing. I kept going. Because stopping meant crying. Broken girls are easy, right? Still silence. My throat burned. You saw a pathetic scene and decided to play savior. He finally spoke. I'm not playing. I laughed bitterly. That's what men say before they get bored. His expression hardened. Look at me. I didn't want to. Clara. Something in his voice forced me. I looked. Big mistake. His eyes held too much calm. Too much certainty. Too much something I did not understand. Then he asked one question. Just one. Do you want to leave? Everything stopped. The room disappeared. The walls disappeared. Even breathing felt distant. Do I want to leave? No one asked what I wanted. Not my parents. Not teachers. Not relatives. Not anyone. Wanting things felt dangerous. Wanting made disappointment worse. My lips parted. Nothing came out. He waited. No pressure. No repeated question. Just waiting. That broke me. Cruelty was easier. Cruelty I understood. Kindness with patience? That was unbearable. My hands started shaking. I looked down. I hated this. I hated feeling weak. I hated tears. I hated hope most of all. Because hope could kill. My voice became a whisper. If I say yes. I stopped. He waited. I forced the rest out. What do you want from me? His answer came instantly. The truth. My throat tightened. That's all? Yes. No conditions. No bargain. No hidden hook. Just truth. I started crying. Quietly first. Then harder. Ugly. Uncontrolled. Years poured out through tears. I pressed my hand over my mouth. Embarrassed. Ashamed. The word shattered. I tried again. Nothing. He waited. Still no pressure. No touching. No fake comfort. Just presence. That somehow hurt more. Because he gave me dignity while I fell apart. No one had ever done that. I whispered it. Barely audible. Yes. One word. But it felt like treason. Against fear. Against conditioning. Against everything they built inside me. Yes, I said again. Stronger. I want to leave. The words left me shaking. But once spoken, I could not take them back. He nodded once. That was all. Decision made. He opened the door. We returned to the dining room. My family looked irritated, like we had wasted their time. My father crossed his arms. Well? Adrian sat. He placed a folder on the table. Prepared. Of course. He had already anticipated resistance. My father opened it. Legal papers. My mother scanned the pages. Her face changed. She cannot contact us? You cannot contact her, Adrian corrected. My sister frowned. This is insane. My father looked furious. This removes inheritance claims. Adrian said nothing. My father stared. Then greed fought pride. I watched it happen. Right there. Greed won. How much? Adrian named the number. My mother gasped. My sister's mouth fell open. My father went silent. I felt sick. That was it. That was all it took. Years of pretending family. Sold. Signed away. My mother looked at me once. Not with sadness. Calculation. Then she signed. My father signed next. My sister hesitated. Then laughed. Well? She signed too. Congratulations, she said. Her smile returned. You've officially been purchased. Purchased. The word sliced deep. Adrian corrected her. No. He stood. She was never yours. Silence. I stared at the signatures. 3 names. 3 signatures. 3 people who claimed family. Signing me away like old furniture. No tears came. That scared me. I felt hollow. Empty. Done. Adrian turned to me. Ready? Was I? No. Yes. I didn't know. But staying meant death. Slow death. I nodded. My father said nothing. My mother adjusted her sleeve. My sister smirked. No goodbye. No apology. Nothing. I walked to the front door. Each step felt unreal. 22 years. Reduced to footsteps. My hand touched the door handle. Then my sister spoke behind me. Cold. Sure. Predictable. He'll leave too. I froze. Her voice softened. Crueler. They always do. My chest hurt. I almost turned. Almost answered. Instead, I opened the door. I stepped outside. I did not look back. When the door closed behind me, something ended. Not pain. Not fear. Not grief. Something deeper. The girl who begged to be loved stayed inside that house. The one walking away was shattered. But she was moving. And for the first time in my life, toward the unknown. The breakdown. I did not break while they sold me. I broke the second the mansion door closed behind me. My knees gave out. Air vanished from my lungs. Then everything hit at once. The signatures. The money. My sister's voice. Believe to. The sound tore out of me. Raw. Ugly. Animal. I collapsed onto the polished floor and sobbed so hard my chest felt like it was splitting open. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't stop. I pressed my hands against the floor like it could hold me together. It didn't. Nothing could. Years of humiliation exploded out of me in violent waves. Every insult. Every dismissal. Every cold dinner. Every fake smile. Every moment I convinced myself I was asking for too much by wanting love. I cried harder. My whole body shook. I hated this. I hated crying. I hated falling apart in front of someone. Especially him. Especially Adrian Vale. I expected him to say something. Tell me to calm down. Tell me to be reasonable. Tell me I was embarrassing myself. He said nothing. That silence somehow destroyed me more. I felt him nearby. Not too close. Not touching. Just there. Waiting. I tried to inhale. Failed. My breath came in sharp broken gasps. No. No. Not now. Not in front of him. I clawed at my chest. My vision blurred. I heard footsteps. Then his voice. Full. Steady. Breathe. I shook my head. I couldn't. I can't. My voice shattered. I can't. You can. No panic. No force. Just certainty. In. I dragged in air. It hurt. Hold. I held. Out. I exhaled violently. Again. In. Little by little, oxygen returned. Not peace. Just air. My sobbing softened into trembling breaths. Humiliation crashed over me. I wiped my face roughly. I'm sorry. Silence. Then. For what? I laughed bitterly. For this. My voice cracked. For being pathetic. The word tasted familiar. Too familiar. It belonged to them. Not me. Yet it lived inside me. I hugged myself tighter. I should be grateful. My laugh broke into tears again. I should be happy, right? No answer. That silence pulled more truth out of me. I left. I swallowed. I finally left. My breathing trembled. So why does it hurt this much? The question hung between us. I knew why. Because pain did not disappear with distance. The house was gone. The damage came with me. I buried my face in my hands. Then anger exploded. At them. At myself. At everything. I slammed my fist into the floor. I hate them. Another hit. I hate them. Another. I hate. My wrist stopped midair. Not grabbed. Blocked. His hand between my fist and the floor. Still no touching. Just prevention. His voice remained calm. Enough. Something snapped. I turned toward him. Enough. I almost laughed. You think that's enough? Years of silence turned violent. Words poured out. You don't understand. I pushed myself upright. My whole body shook. You saw one dinner. My voice rose. One dinner. I pointed toward the door. You saw a few cruel jokes and suddenly decided to save me? Tears blurred my vision. You don't know what that house did to me. I stood too fast. The room tilted. I didn't care. I needed distance. I stumbled backward. Don't. My voice hardened. Don't look at me like that. His eyes stayed on me. Steady. Too steady. I hated that. What look? That look. I laughed bitterly. Like I'm worth something. Silence. That silence cut. Because he refused to deny it. I shook my head violently. No. I backed away again. You made a mistake. His expression changed slightly. Not confusion. Attention. I pointed at myself. Look at me. My voice broke. I am damaged. No answer. I am broken. Nothing. I am pathetic. Still silence. The words kept coming. Like poison leaving my body. They were right. My throat burned. No one keeps me. I swallowed hard. No one chooses me. The room felt too big. Too clean. Too expensive. I didn't belong here. I didn't belong anywhere. My voice dropped to a whisper. I was tolerated. Pause. Then the ugliest truth. Not loved. My chest hurt. I stared at him. Send me away. He didn't move. I kept talking. Because stopping meant hearing my own thoughts. Take me somewhere else. My voice shook. A hotel. A shelter. Anywhere. I don't care. I clenched my fist. Just don't keep me here. Silence. Then. Why? One word. Simple. Devastating. I stared. What? Why don't you want to stay? Anger surged. Because this is ridiculous. I threw my hands up. You're a billionaire. I laughed bitterly. I'm the girl your business partner sold. My voice rose again. This ends badly. I stepped closer. Fury replaced shame. What happens tomorrow? I demanded. When you regret this? No response. When you wake up and realize I'm not worth the trouble? My voice shook harder. When you see how damaged I really am? Tears fell again. I hated them. I hated all of this. You'll leave. The words came out like certainty. Not fear. Certainty. Everyone leaves. Silence. That silence became unbearable. Say something. I screamed. The sound echoed. My breathing became ragged again. I wanted him to fight back. Argue. Defend himself. Anything. Instead, he spoke quietly. I am listening. That broke me. Not anger. Not cruelty. Listening. I sank onto the floor again. Exhausted. Empty. Done fighting. Tears ran silently now. Different from before. Heavier. Deeper. I whispered into the silence. I don't know how to exist without apologizing. The confession stunned me. Because it was true. Every room. Every conversation. Every breath. Sorry. Sorry for speaking. Sorry for eating. Sorry for existing. I started crying again. Smaller now. Quieter. More painful. Minutes passed. Or hours. I didn't know. Then his voice came. Soft. Measured. I did not rescue you because you were perfect. I froze. His next words landed slowly. Carefully. I brought you here because I saw how hard you fought just to survive. My breath stopped. No one had ever said that to me. Survive? I almost laughed. Survival sounded heroic. I felt pathetic. Weak. Ugly. Small. He continued. Do you know what I saw tonight? I said nothing. I saw a woman outnumbered. Pause. I saw cruelty normalized. Another pause. I saw humiliation disguised as family humor. My throat tightened. And I saw something else. Silence. My voice barely worked. What? His answer came without hesitation. Resistance. I stared. He held my gaze. You still spoke. My lips parted. You still fought. Tears blurred everything. You still told the truth in a room built on lies. Something inside me cracked open. Not broken. But, no, that couldn't be right. I was shaking. Yes. I was terrified. Yes. I almost said nothing. His voice stayed steady. But you did not say nothing. My chest rose sharply. No one had ever called fear plus action strength. To them, strength meant never crying, never shaking, never hurting. But he saw something else. Strength inside collapse. Strength inside trembling. Strength inside survival. My voice came out shattered. That's not strength. His reply came instantly. It is. Silence. My tears fell harder. I shook my head. No. Yes. No. His voice softened. Clara. Just my name. Nothing else. But somehow, it felt like being seen. Not judged. See, I broke completely. Not from pain this time. From the unbearable weight of being understood. I covered my face and sobbed harder than before. Because I realized something terrifying. I had spent years believing their version of me. Burden. Problem. Mistake. Unwanted. And for the first time, someone handed me another possibility. Strong. The word felt impossible. Dangerous. Hope always was. Then I felt it. Not touch. Not comfort. Just presence. Steady. Unmoving. Safe. I cried until exhaustion replaced panic. My breathing slowed. My body felt heavy. Destroyed. But quieter. Then one thought slipped in. Small. Terrifying. What if they were wrong about me? I lifted my tear-stained face. And for the first time since leaving that house, I looked at this man and wondered something far more dangerous than fear. What if he was right? My silent decision. I'm not staying. The words came out the morning after my breakdown. Sure. Defensive. Ready for rejection before it arrived. I stood in the doorway of the study, arms folded so tightly my nails dug into my skin. Across from me, Adrian Vale looked up from a document. No surprise. No irritation. Just attention. I see, he said. That calm again. I hated that calm. Because it never gave me something to fight. I mean it. I heard you. I'm not some charity case. Pause. Then. Did I say you were? My throat tightened. No. Then why are you arguing with words I never said? Silence. I hated when he did that. Not attacking. Not defending. Just making me face myself. I looked away. This is temporary. If that makes you comfortable. The answer annoyed me. You don't care? I care. Then stop agreeing with everything. That almost made his mouth move. Almost. Not quite a smile. More dangerous. Something softer. I'm not agreeing with everything. Then argue. About what? About me leaving. His reply came instantly. If you want to leave, you may. I froze. Just like that? No resistance. No insistence? No control? The silence stretched. Then he added, you are free here. Free. The word hit strangely. I had dreamed of freedom. Now that I had it, I didn't know what to do with it. My voice lowered. You really mean that? Yes. What if I leave today? I will arrange transportation. What if I leave forever? His gaze stayed steady. Then I hope you choose somewhere safe. No guilt. No manipulation. No emotional chains. My chest tightened. Because freedom felt heavier than captivity. Captivity gave instructions. Freedom demanded decisions. And I didn't know how to choose. I turned and left without another word. 3 days. I cried for 3 days. Not constantly. But enough. Enough to feel emptied. Enough to feel scraped raw. By the 4th morning, no tears came. Not because I healed. Because something inside me hardened. I stood in front of the mirror in the guest room. I barely recognized the girl staring back. Swollen eyes. Exhausted face. But something else too. Clarity. Pain had burned through illusion. No one was coming to love me into wholeness. No one could fix what years had carved into me. Not Adrian. Not anyone. Only me. I stared at myself. Then I made one silent promise. I will never beg for love again. Not from family. Not from strangers. Not from anyone. Never again. The promise felt brutal. Necessary. Final. That morning, Adrian found me in the kitchen. I expected polite silence. Instead, what do you need? I blinked. What? What do you need? Such a simple question. Still impossible. Meat. I almost said nothing. Then I forced myself. I don't know. He nodded once. That's honest. Silence. Then, would structure help? I frowned. Structure? Yes. He placed a tablet on the counter. A schedule. Therapy options. Educational programs. Health appointments. Training courses. I stared. No emotional speeches. Just options. My voice softened. You made this for me? Yes. Why? Because healing without support becomes survival. I looked down. I'm good at survival. I know. Pause. His next words landed carefully. I would like more for you. More. That word stayed with me. I started therapy 2 days later. I hated it. The therapist asked impossible questions. How do you feel? Terrible. Empty. Angry. Small. I wanted to leave. Instead, I stayed. Week after week. Session after session. Some mornings I couldn't get out of bed. Old voices returned. Burden. Problem. Mistake. Unwanted. Those words lived in my bones. Some nights I woke up shaking. Certain I had been sent back. Certain the mansion was a dream. Then reality returned. Safe walls. Silence. Choice. No one shouting. No one mocking. Still. Healing was ugly. Messy. Slow. One afternoon I found Adrian in the library. Books covered the table. Financial reports. Graphs. Numbers. A world far from mine. I should have walked away. Instead. What is that? He looked up. Quarterly analysis. I stepped closer. I don't understand any of it. Would you like to? The question came too fast. No hesitation. No condescension. I frowned. You teach me? If you want. No pressure. Always choice. I surprised myself. Yes. That single word changed everything. We started with basics. Finance. Markets. Investment structures. At first, numbers blurred together. I grew frustrated. I'm stupid. The words escaped before I could stop them. Silence. Then, who taught you to speak to yourself like that? The question hit like a slap. I looked away. He waited. No rescue. No comfort. Just truth waiting. I swallowed. They did. Pause. Then, they lied. 2 words. Simple. Sure. I stared. No pity in his face. Only certainty. I make mistakes. So does everyone. I'm slow. You're learning. I forget things. You remember patterns. I frowned. What? He slid a report toward me. Yesterday's trend. I glanced once. Then answered. He watched. Correct. I blinked. I was right. Again. And again. Something shifted. Small. But real. I wasn't incapable. I was untrained. Different. Not broken. Weeks became months. I added more. Public speaking. Negotiation. Business strategy. At first, speaking terrified me. Adrian noticed. Pitch this. No. Why? I'll sound ridiculous. Try. I hate you. No, you don't. I glared. He waited. I exhaled. Then started. My voice shook. Then steadied. Then sharpened. He interrupted. Convince me. I froze. What? Sell the idea. My heart pounded. I tried again. Stronger. More direct. He challenged every weakness. Every hesitation. Every apology. Especially apologies. Stop apologizing. The words snapped through the room. I stiffened. I wasn't. You were. Silence. I hated how quickly he noticed. My hands clenched. It's automatic. I know. Then how do I stop? His gaze held mine. By noticing every time you surrender before speaking. The words sat heavy. Surrender. That was exactly what I did. Every sentence softened. Every opinion diluted. Every need minimized. I whispered, I don't know how to take space. His reply came instantly. Learn. No grand speech. No false encouragement. Just expectation. As if learning strength was inevitable. Not optional. That terrified me. And excited me. Months passed. My posture changed first. Then my voice. Then my eyes. I noticed it in reflections. I stopped shrinking. Not completely. But enough. I still had bad nights. Still had scars. Still flinched at sudden anger. Still questioned kindness. But something was rebuilding underneath. Quietly. Secretly. Brick by brick. One evening while reviewing market data, Adrian asked, What do you see? I studied the numbers. Patterns emerged. A flaw. A risk. I pointed. This move fails in 6 months. Silence. He stared. I second-guessed instantly. I'm probably wrong. Why? Why? I swallowed. Because confidence felt illegal. Because certainty felt dangerous. Because being wrong used to cost me pain. I forced myself to answer. It's unsustainable. Another pause. Then, you're right. My breath caught. What? You're right. No hesitation. No softening. Just fact. A strange warmth spread through my chest. Pride. Pure. Unborrowed. Mine. That feeling scared me most. Because power changes people. And for the first time, I felt power growing. Not loud. Not visible. Silent. Controlled. Earned. That night, I returned to my room and stared at the mirror again. Same face. Different eyes. I touched the glass. Months ago, I saw a discarded girl. Now, I saw someone rebuilding. Someone dangerous to people who needed me weak. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. 3 words. From someone I knew too well. We miss you. My blood went cold. Hidden transformation. I stopped apologizing the day Adrian called me out for saying sorry 5 times in one conversation. Sorry. His eyes lifted from the report. I froze. He said nothing. That silence said everything. I exhaled. Right. I straightened my shoulders. Then I tried again. No. I disagree with this strategy. Pause. His gaze sharpened. Why? I stepped closer to the screen. My finger traced the projection. This acquisition looks profitable now. I swallowed. But long term. I met his eyes. It bleeds cash. Silence. 3 seconds. 4. Then. Good. 1 word. Approval. Simple. Deadly. It shouldn't have mattered. It did. Because 6 months earlier speaking firmly felt impossible. Now, my voice no longer trembled every time I disagreed. My posture changed first. Then my tone. Then something deeper. Fear had not disappeared. It evolved. Into discipline. Into observation. Into control. I notice things now. Patterns. Power shifts. Micro-expressions. Silences. Especially Adrian's silences. Adrian Vale was impossible to ignore. The world saw a ruthless billionaire. Cold. Untouchable. Precise. They were not wrong. Staff straightened when he entered rooms. Executives chose words carefully around him. Meetings bent around his presence. Power clung to him like a second skin. But I saw something else. Boundaries. Control. Restraint. He never touched me without permission. Never cornered me. Never demanded emotional debt. Never used what he gave me as leverage. That scared me more than cruelty ever had. Cruelty made sense. Kindness without ownership did not. One evening, I found him in the library. Again. Something's never changed. Reports. Contracts. Silence. I leaned against the doorway. You work too much. His pen stopped. That sounds like criticism. It is. He looked up. Something almost amused flickered. Noted. I crossed my arms. That's all? What response do you want? I don't know. Then I cannot optimize. I stared. Then laughed. Actually laughed. Real. Unforced. The sound surprised me. Surprised him too. His expression softened. Just slightly. Dangerously. That softness felt intimate. I looked away first. Big mistake. Because once I noticed the shift between us, I couldn't unsee it. It lived in pauses. In glances. In silence stretching too long. Sometimes I caught him watching me. Not constantly. Not obsessively. Quietly. Like he was measuring something. Not with pity. Never pity. Pride. That terrified me. Because pride implied investment. Investment implied attachment. Attachment implied danger. I confronted him one night. Why do you keep looking at me like that? He looked up from his tablet. Like what? I hated that answer. You know. No. I stepped closer. Yes, you do. He placed the tablet down. Full attention. Always dangerous. Explain. I hated that too. Because explaining feelings made them real. I forced the words out. Like you expect something from me. Pause. Then. I do. My heartbeat stumbled. What? I expect you to stop underestimating yourself. Silence. That was not what I expected. At all. I frowned. That's not fair. His brows lifted. Why? Because, I stopped. Because if I believed him, I had to become more. More was terrifying. I looked away. His voice softened. Clara. Just my name. Again. Always devastating. What scares you? The truth escaped before I could stop it. Becoming someone people notice. Silence. I laughed bitterly. People only notice things they can use or destroy. His answer came instantly. False. I looked up. You notice people. Pause. Then. You do not destroy all of them. The room became very quiet. Too quiet. I realized what I had said. Not accusation. Observation. I had been studying him too. Dangerous. Very dangerous. Weeks passed. Then months. I trained harder. Negotiation. Leadership. Presentation. Public speaking. Adrian pushed. Relentlessly. One afternoon, after a brutal mock presentation, I snapped. You're impossible. Why? Because nothing impresses you. That is inaccurate. I glared. No, it's not. It is. Really? Yes. I folded my arms. When? His gaze locked onto mine. Now. Silence. My pulse spiked. What? You think faster. Pause. You recover faster. Another. You stop shrinking after mistakes. My breath caught. He continued. You no longer ask permission before having opinions. My chest tightened. Because he noticed. Everything. Every tiny battle I won in silence. He saw them all. No one had ever watched my growth so carefully. That realization shook me. I turned away. Too much. Too intense. Too dangerous. Stop. His voice lowered. Stop what? Looking at me like I matter. The words slipped out. Raw. Painfully honest. Silence. Then. You matter. No hesitation. No performance. Just truth. That scared me more than anything. I left the room. Fast. Heart pounding. Because I knew something terrifying. I was falling. Slowly. Quietly. Toward the one man I could not afford to need. Days later, everything changed. It started with a file. Simple. Ordinary. Unmarked. I entered the study to deliver notes. Adrian wasn't there. The folder sat open. I should have left. I didn't. A photograph slipped halfway out. My hand moved before my brain did. I pulled it free. And stopped breathing. A woman stared back at me. Soft eyes. Warm smile. My face. Not identical. But enough. My knees weakened. No. No. I knew that face. I had seen one blurry childhood picture before it disappeared. My biological mother. My fingers shook. Beneath the photo was handwriting. Elegant. Controlled. Adrian's. Elena Hart. Promise remains. Protect Clara at all costs. The world tilted. My pulse roared. No. No. Impossible. The door opened behind me. I spun around. Adrian froze. His eyes dropped to the photograph in my hand. Silence. Heavy. Sure. My voice barely worked. What is this? No answer. My breathing turned ragged. What is this? He closed the door. Still silent. That silence snapped something. I slammed the photo onto the desk. You knew her? Pause. Yes. The single word detonated. My whole body went cold. How? Silence. Answer me. His jaw tightened. She was important to me. Important. Too vague. Too controlled. Anger surged. How important? His voice stayed low. She trusted me. My chest rose sharply. For what? Another pause. Then. For you. The room vanished. I stared. No. No. My voice shook. What are you saying? He held my gaze. Years of silence sat behind his eyes. Then he spoke. Before she died, she made me promise something. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. My voice cracked. What promise? His answer came like a blade. If anything happened to her. Pause. Long. Brutal. I would protect you. Everything stopped. My knees nearly gave out. I grabbed the desk. The words replayed. Protect you. Protect you. Protect you. I whispered. No. But memory slammed into place. The dinner. His stare. His certainty. His immediate decision. Not random. Never random. Terror mixed with something deeper. Betrayal. Confusion. So I looked at him like I didn't know him. You knew. My voice broke. You knew who I was. Yes. For years. Silence. That was answer enough. My chest burned. For years. Yes. I laughed. Not from humor. From emotional collapse. You watched. Pause. Yes. Why didn't you come sooner? The question exploded out. Raw, ugly, painful. Why? Why let me suffer? Why wait? Why? His expression changed. For the first time. Regret. Real. Sure. Painful. I tried. 2 words. Heavy. I failed. I stared. No explanations. No excuses. Just failure. That hurt more. Because I believed him. Tears burned my eyes. You chose me that night because of a promise. Silence. My voice dropped. So this was never about me. His head lifted sharply. Wrong. I looked at him. Broken. Furious. Terrified. Then what is it about? The answer came instantly. No hesitation. No defense. You. Silence. My heart pounded violently. He stepped closer. Not enough to trap. Enough to be heard. At first, obligation brought me near. Pause. His voice lowered. But obligation is not why you are still here. My breath caught. No one moved. No one spoke. Then he said the sentence that changed everything again. I stayed because losing you became unacceptable. My entire body froze. Suddenly everything felt bigger than rescue. Far more dangerous than gratitude. Because this was no longer about saving a broken girl. This was about us. And I had no idea what that meant. They came back. I miss you, sweetheart. My adoptive mother had never called me sweetheart until she needed something. That was how I knew they were here for money. Not me. I stared at the message on my phone for 5 full seconds. Then another message came. Your father wants to talk. Then another. Your sister feels terrible. I almost laughed. Terrible? No. Desperate. That felt more accurate. I looked up from the phone and met Adrian Vale's gaze across the study. He noticed everything. Problem? I locked the screen. No. Silence. His eyes narrowed slightly. Clara. I sighed. They're back. The words changed the room. Not dramatically. Subtly. Dangerously. His voice lowered. What do they want? I gave a humorless smile. What they always wanted. Pause. Value. His jaw tightened. I hated that tiny reaction. Because it reminded me he knew exactly what they were capable of. They want to meet. Do you? The question landed carefully. Choice. Always choice. I hated how much that mattered. My first instinct screamed no. Block them. Ignore them. Disappear. But another part of me, the part no longer willing to run, wanted something else. Closure. Or maybe proof. Proof that I had changed. I lifted my chin. Yes. His gaze held mine. Are you sure? No. Honesty. Still terrifying. But I'm going. Pause. Then I'm coming. I frowned. No. Why? Because if you're there, they'll perform for you. His expression sharpened. And without me? They'll show me who they really are. Silence. Long. Then. Call if they cross a line. I almost smiled. They'll cross 10. Then call it line 1. That actually made me smile. Small. Real. I'll survive. His reply came instantly. I know. Those 2 words followed me all the way to the restaurant. They were already waiting. Of course. My father. My mother. My sister. The same people who signed me away. The same people who watched me leave without goodbye. I stopped 3 steps from the table. My body remembered before my mind did. My hands trembled. My stomach tightened. Poison. Old pain returned like poison. My mother stood first. Tears already in place. Impressive. She had always been good at performance. Clara. Her voice cracked. We missed you so much. Missed me. Interesting. My father stood next. Forced warmth. Daughter. Daughter. That word almost made me flinch. My sister remained seated. Smiling. Too polished. Too careful. Everything about this screamed agenda. I sat. Slowly. Calmly. I folded my hands. No apology. No nervous smile. That unsettled them immediately. My father cleared his throat. You look different. I am. Silence. My mother reached for my hand. I moved mine first. Polite. Subtle. Untouchable. Pain flashed in her eyes. Or wounded pride. Hard to tell. Clara, she whispered, we made mistakes. Mistakes. Interesting word. As if cruelty was accidental. I smiled politely. Yes. My sister finally spoke. We've been worried. I looked at her. Directly. For me? She held my gaze. Yes. What? Clean lie. I almost admired it. My father leaned forward. We handled things badly. Badly. Another soft word. 4 years of damage. My voice stayed even. You sold me. Silence. My mother's eyes filled. It wasn't like that. I tilted my head. No. My father exhaled. We thought he could give you a better life. I nearly laughed. You signed documents. No answer. I continued. You took money. Still nothing. My voice sharpened. You let me walk out without a goodbye. My mother started crying harder. We were ashamed. I studied her. Not moved. Not cruel. Just clear. No. They weren't ashamed then. They were ashamed now. Because now I had value. My sister crossed her arms. You're being dramatic. There it was. The old pattern. Minimize. Dismiss. Reduce. I looked at her. Calm. Steady. Not shrinking. Her eyes narrowed. She expected me to fold. I didn't. My father stepped in quickly. That's not helpful. He turned to me. We want to fix this. There it was. The real pitch. Fix this. Repair access. Repair connection. Repair opportunity. I leaned back. What exactly do you want? Silence. 3 seconds. 5. My mother looked at my father. My father looked at my sister. There. That hesitation. Truth always lived there. Finally my father spoke. There may be business opportunities. Of course. There it was. Not love. Not regret. Business. With Adrian, I said. Not a question. My father forced a smile. We hoped you could help reopen communication. I stared. Just stared. My mother rushed in. It's not only that. I said nothing. She panicked in silence. We love you. That almost hurt. Not because I believed it. Because once, I would have. I looked at all three of them. Then something surprising happened. I felt nothing. No desperate hunger. No craving. No need. Just clarity. That terrified them more than anger. Because anger meant attachment. Calm meant freedom. My sister broke first. She scoffed. Oh please. My father hissed. Enough. No. She looked at me with familiar venom. She acts like she built this life herself. There it was. The real her. Mask gone. My mother whispered harshly. Stop. But my sister kept going. She got lucky. Her smile turned sharp. One rich man notices her and suddenly she thinks she matters. Silence. She leaned forward. Cruel. Confident. Predictable. You're still the same unwanted girl. The table went still. Old me would have shattered. Old me would have cried. Old me would have apologized for existing. But old me died months ago. I smiled. Not bitterly. Not cruelly. Just calmly. That unsettled her. What? She snapped. I looked straight into her eyes. Then I spoke. Quietly. Clearly. You taught me something valuable. Silence. Her expression hardened. What? I held her gaze. Never stay where love must be begged for. No one moved. No one breathed. I continued. Soft. Precise. Deadly. For years I thought being tolerated was love. My voice stayed steady. I thought surviving scraps made me grateful. My mother cried silently. My father went pale. My sister stopped smiling. I leaned forward. For years, you trained me to believe I deserved less. Pause. Then. You were wrong. Silence. Pure silence. I watched their faces change. Disbelief. Then something new. Fear. Real fear. Because they finally saw it. I was not theirs anymore. Not emotionally. Not mentally. Not at all. My father's voice shook. Clara? I stood. He reached out. I stepped back. No touch. No access. No entitlement. My mother sobbed. Please don't leave like this. I looked at her. Then answered with brutal honesty. You already watched me leave once. The words shattered the table. My sister said nothing. For the first time in my life, she had nothing. I turned. Then my father's voice stopped me. Desperate. Sure. Adrian won't protect you forever. I froze. Threat. There it was. The final truth. I slowly turned back. My heartbeat stayed calm. Because I finally understood something. This was never about Adrian. Never. I met my father's eyes. Then I gave him the truth he feared most. I don't need him to protect me from you anymore. And for the first time, I meant it. Karma begins quietly. They're collapsing. I looked up from the report in my hands. Adrian stood near the window, expression unreadable. My pulse slowed. Not from fear. Recognition. I already knew who they met. My former family. The people who sold me. I set the report down. How bad? Silence. Then, bad. One word. Flat. Controlled. I should have felt satisfied. I thought I would. For years I imagined justice like fire. Loud. Violent. Public. But karma did not arrive like thunder. It came like whispers. Quiet. Steady. Unavoidable. I folded my arms. What happened? Adrian walked toward the desk. Your father's company is under investigation. I frowned. For what? Financial misconduct. My chest tightened. Not from shock. From recognition. Of course. I remembered the late-night calls. The secret meetings. The suspicious contracts. I had seen things before. I just lacked the language to understand them. Now I did. Corruption. Yes. Pause. Hidden accounts surfaced. Investors pulled away. Board members distanced themselves. Partners denied involvement. The empire my father built started cracking from the inside. Not destroyed by enemies. Destroyed by greed. I let out a slow breath. And my sister? Adrian's jaw tightened slightly. Her fiancé ended the engagement. I blinked. That surprised me. Why? Silence. Then, messages leaked. I stared. What kind of messages? He held my gaze. Private ones. Pause. With multiple men. I closed my eyes. Of course. Manipulation was her favorite language. Her engagement had always been strategic. Status. Money. Access. Not love. Never love. I opened my eyes. And my mother? His answer came quietly. Her social circle abandoned her. That almost hurt more. Not because I pitied her. Because it felt familiar. Conditional affection. Useful until inconvenient. Disposable. Exactly what she taught me. Now she lived inside her own lesson. Poetic. Cruel. Accurate. Silence settled between us. Adrian studied me. You're quiet. I gave a small laugh. I thought revenge would feel better. Does it? I stared at the table. No, not really. That truth surprised me. I thought I'd feel victorious. Pause. I don't. He said nothing. I continued. It feels. I searched for the word. Empty. Silence. Then, why? I looked up. Because he would always ask that. Always force truth. I answered honestly. Because this doesn't give me back anything. The words landed heavy. It doesn't erase childhood. A breath. It doesn't heal humiliation. Another. It doesn't rebuild trust. I swallowed. It just proves they were exactly who I thought they were. Silence. Long. Then Adrian spoke. Karma rarely feels cinematic. I almost smiled. That sounds disappointing. It's reality. His voice lowered. Most collapse begins in silence. That stayed with me. Because he was right. People imagine destruction as explosions. But most destruction started small. A crack. A lie. A hidden weakness. Then one day, everything broke. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Again. I already knew. I opened the message. Please help us. From my father. I stared. No greeting. No apology. Straight to need. I laughed once. Cold. Humorless. Adrian noticed. What? I showed him. His expression hardened. Block it. I didn't. Not yet. I kept staring at the words. Help us. Funny. Once I begged them for love. Now they begged me for rescue. Power had shifted. Quietly. Completely. But power came with choices. I typed nothing. Locked the screen. Adrian watched me carefully. You don't have to answer. I know. Then why are you thinking about it? I looked at him. Because the truth hurt. Because part of me still wants them to become better. Silence. Then. That part is human. I exhaled slowly. Human. Sometimes I hated that. Being human meant memory. Attachment. Grief. You could outgrow pain and still ache. That was the cruel part. I stood and walked toward the bookshelf. Needed movement. Needed space. Then something hit me. A thought. A question. I turned. Did you do this? His expression changed. Slightly. Not enough for most people. Enough for me. I stepped closer. Did you destroy them? Silence. Too much silence. I hated that. Adrian. His voice stayed calm. No. I searched his face. Nothing? No direct interference. Direct. That word mattered. I narrowed my eyes. What does that mean? Pause. Then. I refused to protect them from consequences. I froze. That was different. Very different. My father had expected Adrian's influence to shield him, to open doors, silence investigations, protect reputation. But Adrian had done nothing. No rescue. No intervention. Just absence. And sometimes absence was devastating. I stared. So you let them fall. His gaze held mine. I let truth reach them. My pulse quickened. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, something twisted in my chest. Because this man had power beyond imagination. And he used restraint. Always restraint. That mattered. More than I wanted to admit. My voice softened. You could have destroyed them overnight. Yes. But you didn't. No. Why? His answer came instantly. Because this was never about revenge. Silence. Then. It was about removing access to you. The words hit deep. Always back to me. Always protection. Always me. That realization had become dangerous. Because every time he chose restraint, I trusted him more. And trust terrified me. I looked away. Then asked the question living inside me. The one I had avoided since learning about my mother. How long? Silence. I looked back. How long did you know about me? His jaw tightened. Years. How many? Pause. 10. My breath stopped. 10 years. 10 years. I stared. No. That number was unbearable. You watched for 10 years? Yes. My voice sharpened. And did nothing? His expression changed instantly. Pain. Real pain. Good. I wanted truth. Not control. Not silence. Truth. You saw everything? Pause. Yes. My throat burned. You knew what they were doing? Yes. Anger surged. Then it exploded. And you left me there? The words came out like a wound tearing open. Silence. He took it. Did not defend. Did not interrupt. I stepped closer. Fury shaking through me. You knew. Tears burned my eyes. You knew and I stayed in that house. My voice cracked. I begged for love in that house. Still silence. That silence hurt more than denial. I hit his chest once. Not hard. Just pain. Why? The word broke. Why didn't you take me? His eyes closed briefly. When they opened, regret. Raw. Unhidden. I tried. 2 words. Barely steady. I froze. What? I tried. His voice dropped lower. Multiple times. I stared. Legal barriers. Guardianship. Adoption law. Influence had limits. Money had limits. Power had limits. I whispered. They stopped you? His jaw tightened. Yes. My anger cracked. Confusion replaced it. How? They threatened legal retaliation. Pause. They hid evidence. Another. They isolated you. My breathing slowed. No. He continued. I needed proof. Silence. His next words shattered me. I failed to get it in time. Failed. Not excuses. Not justifications. Failure. Heavy. Painful. I had never seen him like this. Not controlled. Not untouchable. Human. Wounded. His voice roughened. I hated every year. My throat tightened. I hated waiting. Pause. Long. Brutal. Then the confession. I hated myself most. Everything inside me stopped. Adrian Vale. The man everyone feared. The man who controlled every room. Standing in front of me carrying guilt like punishment. For me. His eyes held mine. And for the first time, I saw regret so real it hurt to witness. If I had moved faster. His voice almost broke. You would have suffered less. Silence. Pure silence. The anger drained out of me. Not because pain vanished. Because I finally saw something terrifying. He had been hurting too. In silence. For years. I stepped closer. No words. No analysis. Just instinct. My hand lifted. Then rested over his clenched fist. Warm. Steady. His entire body went still. I whispered the only truth I had. You came. His eyes locked onto mine. A breath passed between us. Then another. And suddenly, touch felt far more dangerous than distance. The rival's poison. You're the girl he rescued? The woman said it like an insult. Not a question. A diagnosis. I looked up slowly. Elegant posture. Perfect makeup. Cold eyes. Expensive silence. Beautiful. Dangerous. I already knew who she was before she introduced herself. Vivian Hart. Adrian's former fiancée. The woman everyone in elite circles once expected him to marry. She smiled. Not warmly. Precisely. Like a knife polished to look harmless. I closed the report in my hands. Yes. Her gaze traveled over me. Measured. Calculated. Dismissive. Interesting. I no longer crumbled under that look. But my body remembered old battles. My shoulders stiffened. My jaw tightened. Vivian noticed. Of course she did. She walked closer. I expected someone different. I kept my voice calm. Disappointed? A small smile touched her lips. Curious. What? She came here for war. Not curiosity. I leaned back in my chair. About what? She folded her arms. What exactly makes you special? There it was. Direct. Clean. Cruel. I held her gaze. Nothing. Her brows lifted. That answer surprised her. Good. I continued. I don't need to be special to deserve respect. The smile vanished. Interesting. I hit something. She changed strategy. Subtle poison. More dangerous. You're smarter than the rumors say. Rumors? She tilted her head. That you're fragile. Pause. That you're dependent. Dependent. I almost laughed. She wanted insecurity. She wanted reaction. She wanted cracks. I gave her none. I'm still here. Her eyes sharpened. Yes. Pause. That's what concerns me. Silence. I studied her. Then asked what mattered. Why are you here? Her answer came instantly. To understand Adrian's latest obsession. The word hit. Obsession. Not affection. Not care. Obsession. Calculated. Intentional. She watched my reaction. I gave her almost nothing. Almost. That tiny pause was enough. Her smile returned. Cruel. Satisfied. You do care. I said nothing. She stepped closer. He always had a weakness. For what? For damaged things. The words landed like poison. My chest tightened. Not because I believed her. Because part of me feared I did. She saw it. Of course she saw it. And attacked harder. He confuses protection with love. Silence. I hated how accurate that fear sounded. She lowered her voice. You're a charity case. The words hit old scars. Art. He saved you. Pause. That doesn't mean he loves you. I stood. Slowly. Control. Breathe. Choose. She smiled wider. He collects burdens. Burden. There it was. That word. That cursed word. My father used it. My sister used it. Now her. The old wound opened. Suddenly I was back at that dinner table. No one wants her anyway. Offer her. Take her. Worthless. Disposable. Unwanted. My pulse spiked. Vivian saw the crack. And pressed deeper. Tell me something. Her voice turned silk smooth. When he looks at you. Pause. Do you feel chosen? Silence. She leaned in. Or adopted? That broke something. Not loudly. Quietly. Dangerously. I said nothing. Because if I spoke then, I might shatter. She stepped back. Victory in her eyes. I thought so. Then she left. Just like that. Poison delivered. Damage done. I stood frozen. Breathing felt difficult. My hands shook. Not from weakness. From old trauma waking up. I hated that she reached me. I hated it. That night I packed a bag. Not fully. Halfway. Shirt. Phone. Passport. Running felt familiar. Safe. Leave before being abandoned. Leave before being unwanted. My hand froze over the bag. My breathing turned sharp. The old voice returned. You will leave too. My sister. Vivian. Different mouths. Same poison. I sat on the edge of the bed. Shaking. Fear whispered. Run. Run now. Before attachment becomes destruction. Before hope becomes humiliation. Before love becomes transaction. Then another voice rose. Quieter. Stronger. Mine. No. Silence. I stared at the half-packed bag. No. Not this time. I closed my eyes. And remembered. The mirror. The promise. I will never beg for love again. Then another truth surfaced. I wasn't surviving anymore. I was choosing. The realization hit hard. Choosing meant staying because I wanted to. Leaving because I wanted to. Not because fear decided. Not because insecurity ruled. Choice. Power lived there. My hands stopped shaking. Slowly. Steadily. I unpacked the bag. Every item returned. One by one. Decision made. I would not run from shadows. The next attack came publicly. Of course it did. Charity gala. Elite guests. Investors. Press. Wealth. Performance. Adrian stood across the room speaking to board members. I had attended enough events to stop shrinking. Then I heard her voice. Vivian. Loud enough for nearby guests. Precise enough for maximum damage. I admire your generosity, Adrian. The room quieted. Not fully. Enough. She lifted her glass. Not everyone would turn pity into companionship. Silence spread. Eyes shifted. Toward me. Toward him. Toward us. There it was. Public attack. Strategic humiliation. Adrian's expression turned lethal. He stepped forward. Enough. Vivian smiled. Why? She looked at me. Truth hurts. The old Clara would have gone silent. The old Clara would have disappeared inside shame. That girl was gone. I stepped forward before Adrian could speak. His hand almost reached for me. Then stopped. He let me choose. Always. I faced Vivian. Come. Steady. She looked pleased. She expected collapse. Instead, I smiled. That confused her. I spoke softly. So this is about me? Her smile sharpened. It's about honesty. No. I tilted my head. It's about fear. Her expression shifted. Slightly. Good. I continued. You don't hate me. Silence. You hate what my presence means. Her jaw tightened. Guests stopped pretending not to listen. Perfect. Let truth breathe. Vivian laughed coldly. And what does it mean? I held her gaze. That someone can be loved without earning status. The air changed. I saw it. That landed. She crossed her arms. You think this is love? There. The real question. Not insult. Bang. Interesting. I answered honestly. I know what this isn't. Silence. I continued. It isn't ownership. Pause. It isn't manipulation. Another. It isn't performance. Her eyes hardened. I took one final step. Truth sharpened. He never asked me to become smaller so he could feel bigger. Silence. Pure silence. I saw something crack in her. Not rage. Recognition. Bang. Adrian had once loved a woman who mistook control for intimacy. Now she stood watching something she never had. Choice. Respect. Partnership. Her voice dropped. Dangerously soft. You think you've won? I smiled. Not cruel. Just certain. This was never a competition. That destroyed her more than anger could. Because rivalry requires participation. I refused the game. She stared at me. Then at Adrian. Then back. Her final weapon came low. Sure. You're still the girl from that dinner table. I felt the room hold its breath. Old wound. Final strike. I met her eyes. Then gave her truth. Yes. Silence. I continued. I am. Pause. But that girl learned something. Her brows tightened. What? I smiled. She was never the problem. No one spoke. No one moved. And for the first time, Vivian had no poison left. The power shift. She's still just Charity. Vivian said it loudly. Deliberately. Cruelly. And every conversation in the ballroom died. The silence that followed felt violent. Hundreds of eyes turned toward me. Toward Adrian Vale. Toward the space between us. Judgment lived in that silence. Curiosity too. I recognized those looks. I had lived under them. People in expensive clothes had perfected a special kind of cruelty. Not loud cruelty. Polite cruelty. The kind hidden behind smiles. Behind champagne glasses. Behind words like concern. Vivian stood flawless under the lights. Elegant. Untouchable. She held her glass with calm precision. Like she had already won. Maybe she thought she had. Because once, a room like this would have destroyed me. A room full of powerful people staring? That used to feel like death. I felt my heartbeat. Hard. Fast. Thunder inside my chest. Adrian stepped forward. His voice dropped into something dangerous. Vivian. Just her name. Nothing more. But everyone felt the warning. She smiled. Unafraid. Am I wrong? Silence. She looked at me again. Sure. Measured. She's here because you saved her. Pause. Not because she belongs here. The words landed. Old wounds stirred. That dinner table flashed in my mind. No one wants her anyway. Offer her. Worthless. Disposable. Unwanted. The old pain rose. Then stopped. Because something inside me had changed. I was no longer that girl. Not fully. Not anymore. Adrian turned toward me. His eyes met mine. Question. Permission. Choice. Always choice. You would end this if I wanted. Destroy the room. Destroy her. Protect me. He was ready. I saw it. I inhaled slowly, then made a decision. No, not this time. I stepped past him. That movement alone shocked half the room. I heard whispers. I ignored them. My heels clicked across polished floor. Straight toward the stage. Straight toward the microphone. The event host stared. Confused. I reached for the microphone. He let go. The weight settled in my hand. Heavy. Real. My pulse thundered louder. I looked at the crowd. Investors. Socialites. Executives. Women in diamonds. Men in tailored suits. Respectable people. I almost smiled. Respectable. Funny word. I lifted the microphone. Silence deepened. My first breath shook. The second didn't. Then I spoke. Do you know what it feels like? My voice echoed. Clear. Steady. No trembling. To be treated like property? The room froze. No one moved. Good. Let them hear it. I continued. To sit at a dinner table with people who call themselves family. Pause. And hear them joke about giving you away like unwanted furniture? Shock flashed across faces. Some uncomfortable. Some disturbed. Some ashamed. Good. I tightened my grip on the microphone. I do. Silence. Heavy. I saw Vivian's expression shift. Just slightly. She hadn't expected this. Neither had anyone else. I kept going. When people imagine abuse. I scanned the room. They imagine screaming. Pause. They imagine bruises. Another. They imagine monsters. I swallowed. Then gave them truth. But sometimes abuse wears perfume. Silence. Sometimes it wears expensive watches. Another pause. Sometimes it smiles in public and destroys you in private. The words landed like knives. I saw it. Eyes dropping. Postures shifting. Truth makes people uncomfortable. Especially those benefiting from silence. My voice strengthened. I grew up believing survival meant gratitude. A breath. I thought scraps were love. Another. I thought being tolerated was enough. No tears. None. That surprised me most. Because once I could barely say these things without breaking. Now, truth held me upright. I looked directly at Vivian. Then back to the crowd. Do you know what silent abuse does? No answer. I gave them one. It rewires your worth. Pause. You stop asking what you deserve. Another. You start asking how little you must need to be allowed to stay. The silence became unbearable. Perfect. Because truth should feel unbearable. I continued. People ask why victims stay. My voice sharpened. They ask why we don't leave. A bitter smile touched my lips. As if cages always have locks. I scanned the room again. They don't. Silence. Sometimes the cage is belief. That line hit. I felt it. The whole room felt it. I continued. You believe you're too broken to leave. Pause. You believe no one else will want you. Another. You believe pain is normal. I exhaled. And that belief becomes prison. No one whispered now. No one moved. Even the waitstaff stood frozen. I had them. Not with power. With truth. And truth was heavier. I lowered the microphone slightly. Then raised it again. I was told I was a burden. My voice remained calm. I was told I was lucky to be tolerated. Another breath. I was told no one would choose me. Silence. Then. They were wrong. The words cut through the room. Sure. Clean. Absolute. Something shifted. Not in them. In me. I felt it physically. Like old chains snapping. I wasn't speaking to impress them anymore. I was speaking to every broken version of myself. Every version that begged. Every version that shrank. Every version that apologized. I kept going. If someone only values you when you become useful. I looked around. That isn't love. Pause. If affection disappears when obedience does. Another. That isn't love. I turned slightly. Toward Vivian. Toward every person who weaponized care. If someone makes you smaller to feel powerful. Silence. That isn't love. My voice softened. But somehow became stronger. Love does not require self-erasure. The words hung in the air. Sacred. Painful. True. I felt something hot behind my eyes. Not tears. Release. I smiled faintly. For a long time I thought being saved would heal me. I turned. My gaze found Adrian. And everything stopped. He stood completely still. No mask. No billionaire control. Just raw emotion. So raw it stole my breath. I had never seen him like that. Never. I continued, but my voice changed. Softer. More honest. I was wrong. Silence. Being saved isn't what changes you. Pause. Being seen does. My eyes stayed on him. Because this part belonged to him. To us. To be seen at your worst. My throat tightened. And still be offered choice. A breath. Respect. Another. Space to become. I swallowed. That changes everything. The room disappeared. Just him. Just me. Just truth. And then the final realization arrived. Clear. Absolute. I understood something that changed everything. I was never just rescued. I rebuilt myself. I chose healing. I chose truth. I chose growth. No one handed me power. I forged it. My voice steadied into something unbreakable. So let me make something clear. I faced the crowd. I am not standing here because someone pitied me. Silence. I am here because I refused to remain small. Pause. I am here because I survived. Another. I am here because I chose myself. The microphone felt lighter now. Almost weightless. I gave them the final truth. The one that mattered most. No one gets to decide my worth anymore. Silence exploded. Not with sound. With impact. Respect. Shame. Recognition. I saw all of it. And in that moment, power shifted completely. I felt it. Not externally. Internally. I was no longer the girl waiting to be chosen. No longer the girl being saved. No longer the girl begging to stay. I lowered the microphone. My hands were steady. Completely steady. Then I looked at Adrian again. His eyes burned with something so raw it shook me. Not pride. Not gratitude. Not protection. Something deeper. Something far more dangerous. Love. Real. Undeniable. And for the first time, I realized he wasn't the only one falling. His regret. I love you. Those 3 words should have felt like victory. They didn't. Because the way Adrian Vale said them sounded like surrender. Like confession. Like punishment. I stood frozen in the study. The silence after the gala felt heavier than the applause. Yes, they applauded. After my speech, the room exploded with applause. But I barely heard it. Because Adrian never took his eyes off me. Not once. And now we were here. Alone. No audience. No performance. Just truth. Raw. Dangerous. He stood near the desk, shoulders rigid. Not powerful. Not untouchable. Just tired. Human. Wounded. That unsettled me more than anger ever could. I stared at him. You love me. Not a question. His jaw tightened. Yes. Silence. I waited for more. He gave none. Of course. Still guarding. Still withholding. Still carrying everything alone. Something inside me snapped. No. My voice sharpened. No more half-truths. His eyes lifted. I stepped closer. You don't get to drop that and hide behind silence. Pause. Talk to me. He said nothing. I laughed once. Bitter. See. I spread my hands. This. I pointed at him. This is what you do. My breathing turned uneven. You protect. Pause. You provide. Another. You save. My voice cracked. But you never let me carry you. Silence. That silence enraged me. I stepped closer. Again. You know what hurts? Still nothing. I answered for him. You trust me with my pain. A breath. But not yours. His expression shifted. Barely. Enough. Good. I kept going. You let me break. Pause. You let me heal. Another. You saw every ugly part of me. My voice dropped. But you still hide yours. Silence. Then. Because mine is ugly. His voice was low. Rough. The word stopped me. Ugly. That word again. No. Not from him. I stared. What? He looked away. Big mistake. I moved until he had to face me. What does that mean? His control cracked. Finally. I failed you. 4 words. Quiet. Devastating. I froze. There it was. The center. The wound he worshipped. Failure. He continued. No mask now. No polished restraint. Just pain. I knew. His voice roughened. I knew where you were. Pause. I knew what was happening. Another. And I didn't get you out. My chest tightened. Adrian? No. His voice sharpened. Not angry. Desperate. Don't soften this. Silence. He inhaled slowly. Failed. Again. I made a promise to your mother. His throat worked. To protect you. Pause. I was late. The words hit like glass. Not because I blamed him. Because I heard what he believed. Late meant unforgivable. Late meant guilty. Late meant unworthy. He laughed. What? Cold. Directed at himself. Do you know what I saw every time you cried in this house? I said nothing, because his voice scared me. I saw every year I failed. Silence. His eyes finally met mine. Raw. Unhidden. No walls. No armor. Nothing. That terrified me, because I finally saw the truth. He wasn't cold. He was afraid. Afraid of himself. Afraid of wanting. Afraid of taking. Afraid of loving me selfishly. He continued. When I started feeling more than obligation. Pause. His jaw clenched. I hated myself. My breath caught. What? His answer came instantly. Because it felt selfish. The room disappeared. I only heard him. Only him. His voice lowered. I asked myself whether loving you corrupted the promise. Silence. Whether wanting you made me unworthy of protecting you. My eyes burned. No. I finally understood everything. The distance. The restraint. The silence. The careful boundaries. Not indifference. Fear. He thought desire would stain devotion. He thought love would make protection impure. He whispered, how could I ask for your heart? Pause. When I failed to keep it safe? That broke me. Completely. Because his regret was real. Not dramatic. Not performative. Bone deep. He carried guilt like punishment. Every day. Every silence. Every boundary. Self-inflicted. I stepped closer. He stepped back. That movement hurt more than words. That. He loved me. And still denied himself. Because he believed wanting me was wrong. I shook my head. No. His voice hardened. Yes. No. Yes. Frustration surged. Stop deciding what I deserve. Silence. That landed. Good. I continued. Voice shaking now. You keep acting like loving me would harm me. A breath. But you never asked me. His jaw tightened. I don't need to. I stared. Fury rose. Yes, you do. Silence. You don't get to choose for both of us. Another pause. You don't get to call your love selfish and deny me the right to feel mine. The room went still. Mine. I said mine. His eyes widened. Just slightly. I saw it. Hope. Fear. I swallowed hard. Then asked the question that had haunted me. The ugliest question. The most honest one. If I had never been broken. My voice trembled. If I had never been hurt. I forced myself to keep going. If I wasn't damaged. Silence. The old wound opened. I hated this question. But I needed truth. I looked directly into his eyes. Would you still love me? Pure silence. His face changed. Pain. Not from doubt. From the question itself. As if I had asked whether the sky deserved light. He stepped toward me. Slowly. Carefully. Like approaching something sacred. His voice shook when he answered. For the first time. Actually shook. I would love every version of you. I stopped breathing. He continued. Raw. Unfiltered. The child version. Pause. The angry version. Another. The broken version. His voice cracked. The healed version. Tears blurred my vision. He moved closer. Still not touching. Never without permission. His eyes held mine. If life had been kinder to you. A breath. I would still love you. Another. If life had been crueler. His voice dropped. I would still love you. My tears fell. Finally. Hot. Unstoppable. Because that answer destroyed the final lie inside me. He did not love my pain. He did not love rescuing me. He loved me. Me. Not my wounds. Not my dependency. Not my gratitude. Me. I laughed through tears. Small. Broken. Relieved. You idiot. Pause. Then again. You absolute idiot. Something changed in his face. A tiny crack. Almost disbelief. I wiped my tears. Still crying. Still smiling. Do you really not understand? His voice was barely sound. Understand what? I stepped forward. Closed the distance. My heartbeat thundered. But fear no longer ruled. Truth did. I looked straight at him. Then spoke the truth he had been running from. You weren't the only one trapped by the past. Silence. I placed my hand over his chest. His heart pounded hard. Wild. Human. Real. I whispered. I love you too. And for the first time, Adrian looked completely undone. The final confrontation. He manipulated her. My adoptive father said it to the cameras like he believed it. Like truth could be rewritten if enough people watched. I stared at the television. Muted. But I didn't need sound. I could read every lie on his face. Behind him stood my adoptive mother. Crying. Of course. Perfect timing. Perfect tears. My sister stood beside them. Cold. Arms crossed. Weaponized silence. The headline at the bottom screamed scandal. Billionaire accused of controlling vulnerable woman. I felt rage. Not explosive rage. Clear rage. Focused. Calculated. Beside me, Adrian Vale said nothing. That silence felt dangerous. I turned toward him. You knew. His jaw tightened. They contacted media yesterday. And you didn't tell me? I wanted to handle it. That triggered something sharp inside me. No. His eyes met mine. I stepped closer. No more handling things for me. Silence. Good. Let that land. I pointed at the screen. They are using my story. A breath. They are using my pain. Another. And this time, my voice hardened. I speak. He studied me. Searching. Measuring. Not controlling. Just making sure. Finally. Are you certain? Choice. Always choice. I almost smiled. Yes. His voice lowered. Then I stand with you. No. He stilled. I continued. You stand beside me. Pause. Not in front. Something shifted in his eyes. Understanding. Respect. Then. Yes. That single word steadied me. The press conference happened 2 hours later. Cameras. Lights. Reporters. Microphones. Noise. So much noise. Questions flew before we even reached the platform. Did he isolate you? Were you pressured? Are you financially controlled? Did he exploit your trauma? I heard every word, and something strange happened. None of it shook me, because for once, I knew exactly who I was. My adoptive family stood across the room. My father looked exhausted. My mother clutched tissues. My sister stared at me with unreadable eyes. I walked forward. Every camera followed. Every lens locked onto me. This used to terrify me. Not anymore. I stopped at the microphone. Silence spread. Perfect. I spoke. My name is Clara. My voice carried cleanly. I am not being controlled. Pause. I am not being manipulated. Another. And no one owns my voice. The room quieted further. I looked at my father. Then spoke. My former family says I was exploited. I almost laughed. That is interesting. A breath. Because exploitation did happen. My mother lowered her head. My father stiffened. Good. Truth had arrived. I continued. Let me tell you what control actually looks like. Silence. It looks like being fed just enough kindness to stay hopeful. Pause. It looks like praise given only when obedience is perfect. Another. It looks like love becoming currency. I looked directly at the cameras. It looks respectable from outside. Silence. Inside. My voice sharpened. It destroys you. I turned toward them. No fear. No trembling. Just truth. I remember every insult. My mother started crying harder. I didn't stop. I remember being told I was lucky to be tolerated. Pause. I remember being excluded from family photos. Another. I remember being spoken about while sitting in the room. My throat tightened. Still steady. I remember hearing I was a burden. My father closed his eyes. First crack. I kept going. I remember being offered to a stranger as a joke. Gasp. Whispers. So. Good. Let them hear it. I looked at my father. Straight into him. You laughed. His shoulders dropped. I looked at my mother. You smiled. Her sobbing broke louder. I turned to my sister. And you let it. Silence. No denial. Interesting. I faced the room again. For years, I believed I deserved that treatment. A breath. I thought love had to be earned. Another. I thought silence was survival. My voice softened. But then something changed. I turned slightly toward Adrian. He stood exactly where I asked. Beside me. Not in front. Not shielding. Just there. Steady. Present. I continued. I met someone who never demanded I shrink. Pause. Someone who asked what I wanted. Another. Someone who gave me choices. I looked back at the crowd. That is not control. Silence. That is respect. A reporter shouted. Then why would your family accuse him? I answered instantly. Because truth threatens people who depend on lies. The room went still. Then, unexpectedly, my father spoke. Quietly. Stop. I looked at him. His face had changed. No performance. No manipulation. Just exhaustion. Shame. Real shame. His voice broke. That's enough. I stared. Because I heard it. Regret. Actual regret. Too late. But real. My mother sobbed. We were wrong. My pulse shifted. Not relief. Just finality. Then my sister laughed. What? Sure. Broken. Everyone turned to her. She stepped forward. No. Her voice shook. No more half-truths. I froze. The words hit me. Because they were mine. She looked at our parents. Then at me. Her face twisted. Not with cruelty. With collapse. Raw collapse. No. She shook her head. No more pretending. Silence. Her breathing turned uneven. Then, she broke. I hated you. The confession detonated. My mother gasped. My father whispered her name. She ignored both. Her eyes locked onto mine. Tears spilled. Uncontrolled. Ugly. Honest. I hated you. Her voice cracked. Because you survived. I stopped breathing. What? She cried harder. You survived everything. Pause. And you still stayed soft. Another. I couldn't understand it. Her body shook. I wanted to break you. Silence. Pure silence. She kept talking like years of poison were pouring out. Because if you broke. A breath. Then I could believe anyone would. Her voice shattered. But you didn't. Tears streamed down her face. You kept getting back up. Another sob. You kept enduring. She looked destroyed. Not evil. Broken. Human. Tragic. I was jealous. The room held its breath. She whispered. You were stronger than me. That hit harder than every insult. Because suddenly I saw it. Not just cruelty. Fear. Insecurity. Rot. She attacked what she envied. Not because I was weak. Because some part of her knew I wasn't. She collapsed into a chair. Crying. Openly. Violently. I hated that you survived what would have destroyed me. Silence swallowed everything. No cameras clicked now. No reporters shouted. Everyone just watched. Truth stripped everyone bare. I looked at her. And something surprising happened. I felt no victory. None. No triumph. No satisfaction. Just grief. Because this was tragic. An entire family destroyed by ego, fear, and cruelty. This was the end of all lies. And somehow, that felt sadder than revenge ever could. The greatest gift. They don't deserve your forgiveness. Adrian Vale said it quietly. Not as an order. Not as pressure. Just truth. I stood in the same dining room where my life had shattered. The same table. The same chairs. The same walls that had heard laughter when I was offered like property. I touched the back of my old chair. My chair. The forgotten seat. The unwanted place. I stared at it. And something inside me went still. Not broken. Not angry. Still. Adrian stood beside me. Silent. Present. Waiting. Always waiting for my choice. I looked ahead. My adoptive family sat across from me. Smaller now. Not physically. Spiritually. The power they once had over me was gone. My adoptive mother looked destroyed. My father looked years older. My sister looked emptied out. No arrogance. No venom. Just aftermath. My mother spoke first. Voice shaking. We are sorry. I said nothing. She cried harder. We failed you. Silence. My father finally raised his head. His voice came rough. There is no excuse. No defense. Interesting. No justification. Just truth. He continued. We were cruel. Pause. We normalized it. Another. And we taught each other to ignore your pain. My chest tightened. Not because it hurt. Because it no longer controlled me. That difference mattered. My sister whispered. I hated myself. I looked at her. She couldn't meet my eyes. So I made you smaller. A tear slid down her face. I thought if you looked weak. Pause. I wouldn't feel weak. Silence. The words settled heavily. Years of cruelty. Reduced to insecurity. Tragic. Pathetic. Human. I inhaled slowly. My hands no longer shook. That surprised me. Months ago this room would have destroyed me. Now, I simply stood. Oh. My mother folded her hands. Begging. Please. Her voice cracked. Say something. I looked at all three of them. The people who shaped my deepest wounds. The people who taught me hunger for love. The people who convinced me silence was survival. And I asked myself the only question that mattered. What do I want? Not what they deserve. Not what revenge demands. What do I want? The The answer came clearly. I spoke. You want punishment? They froze. I continued. You think I will scream? Pause. Or cry? Another. Or list every way you broke me? My voice stayed calm. That would make sense. Silence. But I won't. My father swallowed hard. My mother shook. My sister cried silently. I looked around the room. Then back at them. For years I wanted karma. A breath. I wanted you to feel everything I felt. Another. Abandonment. Pause. Worthlessness. Another. Loneliness. My voice softened. But something changed. I placed my hand over my chest. I healed. Silence. And healing did something revenge never could. Their eyes stayed on me. I spoke the hardest truth. It made you smaller. Confusion crossed their faces. I explained. You used to feel enormous. Pause. Your words decided my worth. Another. Your approval controlled my happiness. I shook my head. Not anymore. Silence. I smiled. Small. Real. You are just people now. That landed. Art. Because it was true. Not monsters. Not gods. People. Flawed. Weak. Broken. Human. I felt something release inside me. A chain. An old chain. Finally breaking. I breathed deeply. Then said the words I never imagined saying. I forgive you. My mother sobbed. My father closed his eyes. My sister covered her mouth. I raised my hand, stopping them. No. My voice sharpened. Listen carefully. Silence. Forgiveness is not permission. Pause. It does not erase what happened. Another. It does not rebuild trust. I looked at each of them. I forgive you because I refuse to carry this pain forever. My throat tightened. Still steady. This is not for you. A breath. This is for me. Another. I release your control over my story. Silence. Perfect silence. There. Done. The past no longer owned me. My mother whispered, can we ever be family? The question hung between us. Painful. Honest. I answered with truth. I don't know. She cried. I continued. Maybe someday. Pause. Maybe never. Another. But if anything exists between us again. I held her gaze. It will be built with truth. No performance. No manipulation. No forced love. Only truth. My father nodded once. Slowly. Accepting. For the first time in my life. No one asked me to shrink. I turned away from them. Toward Adrian. And everything else disappeared. Just him. The man who stood beside me when I broke. The man who gave me safety. The man who never demanded gratitude. The man who loved every version of me. His eyes locked onto mine. Raw. Steady. Vulnerable. Waiting. Not claiming. Waiting. That mattered. Because for so long I told myself he saved me. But standing here, I finally understood something bigger. He gave me safety. Yes. He gave me opportunity. Yes. He gave me space to heal. Yes. But he did not create my strength. I did. He did not build me. I rebuilt myself. Piece by piece. Breath by breath. Choice by choice. He didn't rescue a helpless girl. He witnessed a woman becoming unstoppable. That realization hit like light. Warm. Blinding. Liberating. I walked toward him. One step. Then another. No fear. No hesitation. Just choice. I stopped in front of him. Close enough to hear his breathing. His voice came low. Soft. You don't owe me anything. Tears burned my eyes. Of course he said that. Of course. I laughed through the tears. You still don't understand. His brow tightened. Understand what? I reached for his hand. Warm. Steady. Real. Then I held it. Not because I needed saving. Because I wanted connection. I looked directly into his eyes. And said the words I feared most. The words bigger than love. Because love can be accidental. This wasn't. This was choice. I choose you. Silence. His breathing stopped. Mine almost did too. I kept going. Voice shaking now. Not with fear. With truth. I choose you freely. A tear fell. I choose you completely. Another. I choose you without gratitude. My voice broke. Without obligation. Pause. Without debt. Another. Just love. His eyes filled. Actual tears. I had seen him angry. Controlled. Protective. Broken. But this undid me. He whispered. Say it again. I smiled through tears. I choose you. That was all he needed. He pulled me into his arms. Carefully. like he still feared I might break. But I didn't. I held him back. Tightly. Completely. No distance. No walls. His arms wrapped around me like home. Not a cage. Home. He buried his face near my hair. I felt his body shaking. Adrian. Shaking. Because of me. Because of us. His voice cracked against me. You are the greatest thing that ever happened to me. My tears fell harder. Because suddenly I saw it. The full circle. What? They offered me as a joke. Like discarded furniture. Like something unwanted. Like something worthless. They were wrong. So painfully wrong. I was never worthless. Not then. Not now. My worth was never determined by the people too broken to see it. I closed my eyes, held him tighter, and smiled through tears. I was the greatest gift, first to myself, and then to the man who truly saw me.